Welcome back to Carpool Talk. If you've been wondering what the Supreme Court's Mahmoud versus Taylor means for your family, this episode is for you. I'm Miranda, and this is April.
Hello. Just to give you guys some context on this episode, in June of this year, 2025, the Supreme Court made a landmark decision affirming that parents have a constitutional right to guide the religious upbringing of their children. That is even in public schools. This case started in Maryland, but now it affects families nationwide, and we are going to discuss that.
Yeah.
So what happened, Miranda?
I remember seeing it on social media, some of the context leading up to the Supreme Court decision. Mm-hmm. A group of parents in Montgomery County, Maryland, sued their school district because they were introducing storybooks into the curriculum with LGBTQ themes in elementary classrooms. Mm-hmm. And to my knowledge, which I think is the truth, the school used to allow opt-outs for parents, and then they took them away. So that kind of stirred that pot even more for these families who said that it violated their First Amendment right to freely exercise their religion. And the school district argued that allowing opt-outs would be too complicated and disruptive.
Okay. So I wonder if a bunch of them opted out and then they were like, what do we do?
Yeah. I think that was kind of the case there.
Sure. All right. So this case obviously was ruled on in June. What the Supreme Court decided? Well, we are grateful. The Supreme Court sided with the parents and ruled that public schools must accommodate sincerely held religious beliefs, meaning parents can request to opt their children out of classroom content that conflicts with their faith. And the court referenced Wisconsin versus Yoder from 1972, where Amish parents won the right to withdraw their children from high school for religious reasons. Now, the court said that schools must have a compelling reason to override parental rights. And in this case, Montgomery County's reasons did not meet the standard.
An actual fun fact about this case as well, there was a amicus brief added into this case showing that teachers across the country were just fine with offering alternative lessons for opt-outs for parents. Okay. So that amicus brief basically stated that it's not quite the burden that the school district made it sound to be.
Okay. So what does the ruling mean for parents?
So I think, as we all know, we do have the right to guide our child's moral and religious upbringing, or upbringing and education.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And schools must now handle opt-out requests respectfully and neutrally as well.
So the districts have to notify parents before they introduce this content?
So that's the way that I understand it.
Okay.
We'll have some links and resources in the description to, kind of for parents that want to take a deeper dive into this. But that's the way that I understand it, yes.
Sure. So that speaks to transparency for sure. So what can you do to make sure, I guess, you are being notified, you feel comfortable with the content that, is being put in front of your child? I guess some things that you can do: ask to see the curriculum materials in advance. I think
this is a good spot to put in a plug for our parent toolkit at the beginning
Okay.
of the year that will help tremendously in parents understanding, what to expect for the upcoming school year.
Okay. I think obviously communicating with your child early and often, that way you are, I guess, aware of what is going to be introduced, what your child is learning, so on and so forth. There is an opt-out form that I will speak about, and the opt-out form, we will have the link in the description. Also, just letting you know that the opt-out form is from Defending Ed, and it will link to another kind of explanation as to, what to do with that.
So I guess my question as a parent, if I was listening to this, April, so the opt-out form, do parents just need to fill that out once in the school year and submit it to the school, or do they need to be aware of certain assignments and use that opt-out per assignment?
I think that's a great question. I personally would want to speak with the school to figure out, what that looks like. I think policies are probably being written right now regarding this, if the school does not have a policy already. So that's why it is important to stay on top of and stay informed about your district's policies. Following this Mahmoud case ruling and decision, we talk about local control in a lot of areas, and each school district, is privy to come up with their own policies. Right. And so that is maybe your next question for your school board member or school board rep. So let's see, what does this mean for schools and for teachers? We've talked about parents. Miranda, tell us what you think about what does this mean for schools and teachers.
So just for parents to understand better, this decision does not mean that schools are going to be censoring lessons or taking lessons or books out of curriculum. What this decision is going to do is encourage the transparency to where schools have to inform parents of, what might be coming up in the curriculum or what books might be read. Great decision by the Supreme Court, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think we were all hoping, and it was good to see that. Yeah, the right decision was made.
Yes, absolutely.
And I guess let's talk about just in general, high level takeaways from this case. And these sound very simple, but it is huge, what these really mean when you put them into context. I'll let you go.
So I think at Freedom in Education, we often remind parents that we have the fundamental right to the upbringing of our children. That means education, religion, morals, values, all of that. So parents need to remember that. And we have rights. So schools must respect religious opt-outs. That is one of our biggest rights as parents, is our religion. The best outcomes for partnership, not polarization.
Right. So the best outcomes are going to come if you're partnering, respectfully. You're not burning down the house, stomping into the school.
Yeah, and it goes back to, we mentioned, get your parent toolkit together and ready. Have conversations with your kids. Have conversations with your kids' teachers. Look at the policies that your school is putting out. All those things for parents to do, and so that they're well informed and well equipped and ready to tackle the school year.
Absolutely. And I think, we will probably see more cases being entertained from, schools throughout the nation as parents maybe recognize or choose to opt out of this material. I think it's important, it is important for us to educate other parents on this and, that's where we want, the audience, anyone listening, to share this with another parent, share it with a grandparent, anyone who you feel would want to understand their rights. And I think also save a copy of the opt-out letter. You never know when, an issue is going to pop up at your child's school. And we want to make sure that you're prepared.
Yes.
So let's see. And before we wrap up, I just want to mention that behind every one of our episodes is a partner who made it possible for us to be here. If you believe in restoring knowledge, empowering families, supporting great teachers, visit freedomanded.org to give, advocate, or connect others to our mission. Our X account is right here. And then we thank you for joining us. Miranda, thank you for this tidbit of big information, huge decision. And I believe we hope to bring on an attorney in the future, and we can talk about some more specific cases. But if anyone has issues, feel free to reach out to us at info@freedomanded.org.
Thank you, April. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.